Number 15. The Batman 2022. The Riddler doesn't just challenge Batman, he completely outplays him. While Batman's running around solving riddles, Riddler's already 10 steps ahead, systematically destroying Gotham's corrupt elite and flooding the entire city. Sure, Batman stops the final assassination, but look at what Riddler accomplished. He exposed massive corruption, eliminated his targets, and turned Gotham into a disaster zone. The movie ends with the city underwater and Riddler inspiring copycats from his prison cell. That's not a defeat. That's a strategic victory with a built-in sequel plan. Number 14. Avengers Infinity War 2018. Thanos doesn't just collect the Infinity Stones, he methodically dismantles Earth's mightiest heroes. He turns the Hulk into a scared child, breaks up the Avengers, and collects the stones like he's shopping for groceries. The heroes throw everything at him: magic, technology, raw power, and Thanos just wins. He sits down, watches the sunset, and enjoys his victory. That's cold-blooded villain excellence right there. Number 13. Sicario 2015. Alejandro isn't technically the main villain, but his methods are absolutely ruthless. While the heroes are trying to play by the rules, Alejandro is playing a completely different game. He manipulates the entire operation, eliminates his targets, and gets his revenge. The system that was supposed to stop the cartels becomes his weapon. The agents who thought they were in control are just pawns. Alejandro wins because he understands that sometimes you have to become the monster to defeat the monster. Number 12. Nightcrawler 2014. Lou Bloom is terrifying because he's so good at what he does. The sociopathic entrepreneur turns tragedy into profit throughout the entire movie. He manipulates situations, destroys lives, and builds his media empire. The police, the news director, his assistant, they all either die, get corrupted, or become complicit in his schemes. Lou ends the movie more successful than ever, with a bigger operation and zero consequences. That's a villain who truly understands how to win. Number 11. Gone Girl 2014. Amy Dunne doesn't just defeat her husband, she destroys his entire existence and rebuilds it according to her design. She frames him for murder, manipulates the media, eliminates witnesses, and then swoops back in as the victim who forgives him. Nick knows exactly what she did, but she's trapped. She's pregnant with his child. She's a master manipulator, and she holds all the cards. Amy doesn't just win, she creates a prison where her victory is permanent. Number 10. John Wick Chapter 4, 2023. This one's controversial, but the high table wins. Yeah, John gets his revenge and dies on his own terms, but look at the bigger picture. The high table's system survives, the Continental is rebuilt under their rules, and the assassin world continues exactly as it was. John's rebellion inspired others, but it didn't change anything fundamental. The high table absorbed the damage, adapted, and moved on. Sometimes the system is the real villain, and systems are really hard to kill. Number 9. The Dark Knight 2008. The Joker's plan wasn't to kill Batman, it was to prove that anyone can be corrupted, and he succeeds spectacularly. He turns Harvey Dent, Gotham's White Knight, into a murderous vigilante. He forces Batman to become a fugitive and take the blame for Dent's crimes. Even though the Joker gets captured, he wins the philosophical argument. He proves that chaos is just one bad day away, and he corrupts the very symbol of hope that Gotham believed in. Number 8. Blade Runner 2049, 2017. Wallace Corporation wins through sheer inevitability. Wallace doesn't need to defeat K directly, he just needs to control the narrative and the resources. By the end, Wallace has what he wants: information about replicant reproduction and continued dominance over the replicant population. K's personal journey might be meaningful to him, but it doesn't change the larger power structure. Wallace Corporation continues to profit from synthetic slavery, and the system remains intact. Number 7. Mad Max Fury Road 2015. Wait, didn't the heroes win this one? Well, yes and no. Immortan Joe dies, but look at what replaces him. The wives take over the Citadel, but they're still ruling over the same desperate, resource-starved population in the same wasteland. The system of scarcity and control doesn't change, it just gets new management. The real villain isn't Joe. It's the post-apocalyptic world itself, and that world is still there at the end. Number 6. Prisoners 2013. The real antagonist, the system that fails to protect children and drives parents to extremes, absolutely wins. Detective Loki solves the case, but look at the cost. Keller Dover becomes a torturer, families are destroyed, and the cycle of violence continues. The movie ends with Loki hearing Dover's whistle, but we don't know if he'll be rescued. Either way, the system that created this nightmare remains unchanged, ready to fail the next family. Number 5. There Will Be Blood 2007. Daniel Plainview is one of cinema's greatest villains, and he wins completely. He destroys his competition, abandons his son, and ends the movie wealthy beyond measure, but utterly alone. His final confrontation with Eli isn't a defeat. It's the culmination of his victory. "I'm finished," he says, and he means it. He's won everything there is to win and destroyed everyone who stood in his way. Number 4. No Country for Old Men, 2007. Anton Chigurh is less a man than a force of nature, and forces of nature don't lose. He kills almost everyone he encounters, recovers the money, and disappears into the world to continue his work. The car accident at the end doesn't defeat him. It's just another obstacle he overcomes. The real tragedy is Sheriff Bell, who represents the old world of clear morality. He retires, defeated by a world he no longer understands. Number 3. The Departed, 2006. Frank Costello wins posthumously. Even after his death, his corruption has infected the entire system. The police department is compromised. Good cops are dead, and the cycle of violence continues. Billy Costigan dies thinking he's won, but Costello's influence outlives him. The system remains corrupt, and new players step up to fill the void. Sometimes the villain's victory is institutional rather than personal. Number 2. Heat, 1995. Neil McCauley doesn't survive, but he wins the philosophical battle. His code, "Don't let yourself get attached to anything you are not willing to walk out on in 30 seconds flat," proves superior to Vincent Hanna's attempt to balance professional duty with personal relationships. McCauley dies on his own terms, having lived exactly the life he chose. Hanna survives, but his personal life is in ruins. Number 1. Zodiac, 2007. The Zodiac killer wins the ultimate victory. He's never caught. The movie follows the obsessive investigation that destroys careers, relationships, and lives. While the killer remains free, he doesn't just evade capture, he turns the investigation into another weapon, using the media attention to spread fear and paranoia. The real horror is that he's probably still out there, having lived a normal life while his victims' families and the investigators suffer forever.